Well, now, with European capitals still gripped by the Greek crisis and no deal today, let's go to our Europe editor, Matt Fry, who is moving now to Rome. Matt.
Well, welcome to Rome, John and everyone else. This, as you may remember, is the city where they signed the Treaty of Rome in 1957, which set up the European Economic Community, the precursor to the EU. This was the birthplace of the European dream. And now they're asking themselves a question here which they thought they'd never have to ask. What is the point of Europe if it cannot solve the Greece crisis, if it cannot solve the migration crisis? More on both of those in a minute with Italy's foreign minister. But first, let's go to our economics editor, Paul Mason, who is, as ever, in Athens. Paul, what's the latest today?
Matt, we like to think that our governments, and indeed the transnational governance of Europe, the EU, the ECB, the IMF, know what they're doing. But here in Athens tonight, it feels like nobody in power really has a plan. We've got the IMF saying, out of the blue, that after all, Greece needs debt relief. It just so happens that for 6 months they didn't offer them any debt relief. The IMF saying very clearly they can't really pay their debts. Meanwhile here, the government, Alexis Tsipras, the Syriza party, ploughing on with their confrontation with the EU and with the ECB over what? They've actually offered a deal very close to what the lenders want, minus the issue of debt relief, and yet they're pressing on with a referendum. There is the whiff of tear gas again in the air, because somebody right now is picketing and protesting outside the European Commission building here in Athens. And so, all day, while this is going on at the political level, the economy is collapsing like a balloon, as I've been finding out.
There are still people shopping, but for Greek retailers it's become a world of cash up front or no supplies. With the banks closed, cash rationed, the streets are getting quieter every day and turnover has slumped.
From a first indication, the turnover in the total retail sector is going down in a percentage of 30 till 50% during these days. And in the food retail sector, things are not so awful because in the food retail we have things of the first priority for the consuming basket.
Everybody wants this to be over, and for that to happen they need a new deal with the Eurozone and the IMF.
If there is the oxygen of the economy, that is the banking system, nothing is possible in real economy. So the focus is to open the banks, and precondition is to have an agreement.
But it's higher up the business food chain that the real damage is being done. This high-tech travel booking company was one of Greece's star businesses. But, the boss tells me, bookings are down again by up to 50%, and it's becoming hard even to do business with firms abroad.
There are many airlines which are currently cancelling ticketing authority for all Greek travel agencies, meaning that there are airlines which are cancelling ticketing authority, which means that no Greek travel agency can issue tickets actually anymore on these airlines.
Which airlines?
So far these have been Air Baltic, for example, Virgin Australia, Air New Zealand, and multiple others. There are around 10 carriers.
You could pay them, presumably?
Yes, but they cancelled the authority for the whole country.
But it's here, in the small family stores, that you can feel how rapidly the mass psychology of Greece is changing. On the first 2 days, people were calm, but on the third, well, this is the Greek word for it.
Tromos, what is the word tromos?
What is the word?
Terror.
On the third day it was terror.
Yeah, and today I feel they are
Frozen.
Given the damage this is doing, you may well ask, why is the government sticking to its guns? The answer is, first, they've got the rock-solid support of about a third of society, who can't wait to inflict on Sunday what they hope will be a moral defeat on the Conservatives. The second reason is principle. These are economics professors who've spent their entire lives saying austerity doesn't work, and they will not sign up to it unless the people tell them to.
And it seems the IMF agrees. In a surprise report today, it said Greece needs a new bailout worth 50 billion euros, a debt write-off, and that it should not have to make repayments on its debts for another 20 years. The Greek finance minister today told a financial news channel he'd rather chop his arm off than agree to a deal without debt relief.
Look, I'm the finance minister of the radical left party. Don't listen to me. Listen to the IMF. Ask them that question. They just came out with a report saying precisely that. Ask the US government. Do they believe that the Greek debt is sustainable? No, they don't. Ask any independent, sensible observer or economist. They will say the same thing.
The divisions, the demos and the economic destruction continue.